Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. A regional political strategist does not agree with St. Lucia's opposition on the issue of a referendum to join the CCJ. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Friday, 3rd March 2023. Details when we return.
Hubbard's Motor Department Mount Gay and Hubbard's Tire Bay, located at the Building Supplies Compound in Grand Anse, are reminding the motoring public that another round for licensing and inspection has begun. Just arrived on new shipments of quality furrowed and torque tires to fit all makes and models of vehicles at competitive pricing. Shop early to avoid the hassle of long lines. WhatsApp them on 473-405-5482. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
Welcome back. Regional push pollster and political strategist Peter Wickham has dismissed calls from the opposition UWP for a CCJ referendum as mere politics. Wickham has given the green light to the Philip J. Pear administration, adding that the correct legal process was followed to accede to the appellate court. The House of Assembly convened on Tuesday for the amendment of the island's constitution to facilitate the process. Elected parliamentarians voted in support of the measure. The Constitution of St. Lucia Amendment Bill 2023 was debated on Thursday during the sitting of the Senate. Zane Romulus of the DBS News World reports.
The main opposition, United Workers' Party, has called for a referendum to get the public say on whether the country should ditch the Privy Council and adopt the Caribbean Court of Justice. Regional pollster Peter Wickham, however, believes that a public vote on the matter was not needed, as it would have been marred by politics.
The decision of the Chastany-led UWP to call for a referendum is probably unsurprising in the context of the fact that it is in opposition politically. And the referendum will make the UWP relevant in a way that it is not. Personally, I don't support the idea of going to a referendum if it is not necessary. That was not done in the case of either Dominica or Barbados. And in the case of Guyana, it was also not done because there's no referendum requirement when you have the necessary majority in the House.
He has commended the Pear administration for taking the steps for St. Lucia to assert its independence and sovereignty. Being part of the CCJ, he notes, will deepen the regional integration that the Caribbean community has always valued.
So I support that, even as I understand what this UWP is trying to achieve. I do feel it is unnecessary in this instance and highly unworthy.
Referenda on the matter in other regional jurisdictions, Wickham observes, resulted in the electorate rejecting the switch from the Privy Council, which would have been the case if St. Lucia had taken that route. For the DBS News World, I am Zane Romulus.
Cressida Descartes-Pellias is officially the new Commissioner of Police. The veteran law enforcement officer has been acting in the position since October 2022. St. Lucia has experienced chronic gun violence for almost 2 decades, with a notable uptick in homicides since 2017. Joachim de Plessis of HTS News Force filed this report.
Cressida Descartes-Pellias is no longer acting and is now officially the first female police commissioner of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Prime Minister Philip J. Pear, who announced the historic acting appointment in October last year, on Tuesday disclosed the confirmation of a promotion to the post of commissioner. But how long will she serve in office, given reports that the veteran senior officer is months away from retirement?
The police commissioner has been appointed. She is the police commissioner, and then she has been appointed until June this year.
The confirmation comes as the island grapples with an upswing in gun violence. 3 people were shot fatally on Independence Day.
This is something that worries me, worries us, worries the entire country, and the police are trying their best. But as you know, these shootings are very, 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 very difficult to deal with. Very difficult. Because if you notice, it looks like revenge, it looks like retaliation, but we are working on that.
Opposition leader Alan Chastany has sharply criticized the incumbent SLP administration's handling of crime. But the Prime Minister believes there is a credibility gap as his predecessor is concerned. He has vowed to continue to devote more resources to law enforcement.
The crime situation does not please anybody. The crime situation does not make anyone happy. What we're doing is we're giving the police force the necessary resources. It's a work in progress. It didn't start now. It's been there for a long time. It's a work in progress.
According to the opposition leader yesterday, what your administration is doing in terms of providing resources.
The opposition leader presided over a country where there was a zero balance for police training, zero.
Prime Minister Pierre, who also has the portfolio for national security and finance, has promised an increased allocation for security and defense in this year's budget, which is just weeks away. Joachim Duplessis, HTS News Force.
Fraud, identity theft, money laundering, terrorism financing, and counterfeiting are among the many issues being experienced in Trinidad and Tobago, according to Director of Global Forensic Institute, Jerome Chambers. TTT's Terrian Brown Campbell tells us more about what she learned during a workshop to raise awareness on the topics on Wednesday last in Trinidad and Tobago.
According to Director of Global Forensic Institute, Jerome Chambers, once there is money to be made, people will always find a way to circumvent the measures. He made the comment as he noted no matter how many measures are put in place to prevent counterfeiting of our local currency, land deeds or other documents, fraudulent documents continue to surface.
We want to deal with issues of fake land deeds. As I said to them, a lot of people now, when they see the barcode on the land deed, they automatically assume it's genuine because it's new.
He said in one case, the barcode on the fraudulent deed turned out to be for a tin of peas and carrots from a supermarket. Mr. Chambers raised the issue of identity theft. He cautioned against the need to overshare on social media.
One, knew that they weren't in the country. Two, where they were and how long they were taking. So by the time they came back home, driving down the road, when they got to their house, they saw somebody else mowing the lawn in a vest. Somebody sold their house the period of time that they weren't here.
Mr. Chambers was speaking during a one-day workshop on fraud and counterfeiting at Arthur Lockjack Global School of Business. Terrian Brown Campbell, TTT News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Pharmacies in Trinidad are having difficulties getting COVID-19 home test kits as there appears to be an upsurge in people buying them since Carnival. While people are trying to deal with COVID-19 at home, private labs are also noticing an increase in positive cases, with one having to reopen its testing facilities. CNC3's Richard Khan has more.
This week saw the highest number of confirmed positive COVID-19 cases since early October. According to Pharmacy Board President Andrew Rahman, there has been a significant increase in people purchasing cold medication and vitamins since Carnival. He says home test kits are also a hot seller.
So much so that I have to confirm if the test, because we ran out, and I'm wondering if the tests are a little scarce, sort of, as if I'm getting a little trouble to get some.
One private lab in South tells CNC3 News they've seen a noticeable increase in people testing and positive results following Carnival. While it's a similar picture for medical associates, they also had to reopen their private COVID-19 treatment facility within the last month. Its medical director says he believes it's because of Carnival.
Not only from the hospital point of view, but I know many people who played Carnival and many of them are sick with COVID.
He notes that compared to previous surges, those presenting for treatment are mainly those who are severely ill.
There would be sick people. People generally don't come in with this batch. People not coming in as a precaution generally.
While these labs are seeing increases, they all say it still does not compare to what was experienced during the height of the Delta surge in December 2022. Rashad Khan, CNC3 News.
The Antigua and Barbuda Reparations Support Commission is set to make an announcement shortly on an adjustment to its push for reparations. It is set to consider pursuing the descendants of slave-owning families for reparatory justice, in addition to continuing the push from former European imperialist countries. The comments from the Commission Chairman, Ambassador Dobrino Made, followed an apology by the Trevelyan family from Britain for their ancestors' role in slavery in Grenada.
I think we will rethink that, certainly. And we will rethink it with discussions within the CARICOM Reparations Commission itself. As I mentioned to you before, that we were a bit wary about breaking the sort of regional approach that we were committed to. But we think now, especially after discussions in Grenada with my other colleagues, because a number of other colleagues came in also, that the idea of the family to society reparations might be something that we may be able to take on from the individual, from the National Reparations Commission, not taken away clearly from the main objective, which is the nation to nation, Antigua and Barbuda, CARICOM nations, Antigua and Barbuda within that CARICOM nation framework, that relationship with the European Union or with the individual governments of the European Union.
Indeed.
We'll make a decision on that shortly.
A major development is on the horizon for the achievement of Antigua and Barbuda's maritime industry. 2 Memoranda of Understanding, MOUs, are to be signed in Panama this week.
A beaming Darwin Telemac at the airport on Tuesday en route to Panama to sign a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU. Telemac says it will be another game changer for the development of the port, which was recently upgraded. He's now even more bullish on the prospects.
As you know, Panama is the leading port authority, maritime authority, within this region, I would say within the Western Hemisphere. And to be attaching that type of support to what we are doing here in Antigua, I think is quite an achievement and something that we're very, very excited to do.
A major feature of the MOU will be the building of the skills of staffers at the Port Authority in St. John's.
We are now able, when we sign that document, to take specific numbers of our staff and find out their core interests or competence, and we can attach them in Panama for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months at a time, building their capacity and their repertoire, and bringing them back here to deliver for us at a level that would take the port to a whole new space. And we are very, very excited about that. And we're hoping that the staff latches onto it.
There will also be crucial sharing of information, business processes, and technology. Telemac says the aim is to ensure the port leverages the strength of Panama's experience to position this country as the leader in logistics in the sub-region.
Ultimate intent is to ensure that the efficiencies and the productivity that the port needs to deliver to create the type of versatility and competitiveness that we need to see emanating from the port as we move further into the region, as that regional hub that we intend to be, and I know on track to be. This is a big step towards that.
He has praised Antigua and Barbuda's ambassador to the Organization of American States, Sir Ronald Sanders, and the Prime Minister Honorable Gaston Brown, who has ministerial responsibility for the port, for their efforts in getting to this stage. Another maritime MOU is also to be signed in Panama this week, with the Antigua and Barbuda Department of Marine Services and Merchant Shipping, ADAMS, taking the lead on that one.
This MOU with ADAMS is going to ensure that our seafarers who are challenged with not being able to get the requisite sea time would now have another avenue where they could explore directly with a partner that is engaging to say, we would like to help you. We can place your seafarers, your officers on board, your engineers on board our ships. And Panama has one of the largest flag state in the world.
The Bahamian Prime Minister speaks on Russia-Ukraine war.
Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky is hopeful 2023 will be the year of its victory against Russia, whose full-scale invasion reached the one-year mark last Friday. At each turn, Zelensky has renewed his request for the global community's support, as evidenced during the final day of CARICOM's 44th regular meeting in New Providence, mid-February. CARICOM Chair, Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis, in turn assured the group's commitment to continue standing in solidarity with the Eastern European country, whose people have witnessed months of atrocities as thousands are left dead or injured.
It's never good to have precedents out there where one powerful country is able to, without punity, invade others by insulting their sovereignty and right to determine their own destiny. That is something that is abhorrent to all international standards and abhorrent to the UN Charter of Rights of Nations that we've all signed on to. And so we have to support and condemn the invasion of Ukraine. There's a resolution that is before the UN that we have committed our support to, which we have been supporting and will continue to support.
Hubbards is once again innovating the way you shop with its new online store, providing 24-hour shopping convenience. You can shop now for appliances, hardware, houseware, building material, and more. Free delivery island-wide. Start shopping now at hubbardsHardware.gd. Safe, convenient, reliable.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.